Welcome to American Facts News.
We're back.
I'm Dana Walsh.
I'm Big Rob Glazer.
We'd like to thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting on our channel and our videos.
And welcome to the Gunshine State.
Welcome to American Facts News. I'm Dana Walsh.
I'm Big Rob Glazer.
Tonight's episode is about Big Rob getting arrested. Can you please shine a little light and explain to the viewers what went on?
I would love to. I was working for a friend of mine, and this big bully came in and started running his mouth. So I told him, get the hell out of here, I'm going to whip your ass. So he jumped in his car and went and called the police. So I didn't know he was calling the police. We're just back to work. Next thing I know, somebody goes, hey, SWAT team's here. I go, oh my God. I pulled my shirt off, put my hands up, and I went outside and turned around to let them know that I was not a threat. And they put me over in a corner. There was 3 people that witnessed the whole thing. They took no statements from those 3 people. They said that I pulled a gun on a guy. Well, the guy that owns the building said, you're more than welcome to search the building for the gun. I'm talking at least 15 police officers.
Wow.
None of them went and looked in the building for the gun. So now they got me up against the wall, and there was a Largo sergeant lady, and she was really nice. And then they had a real short deputy sheriff that came over and was being very rude. So I kind of dismissed him with rudeness, and he went and got a bigger guy that with muscles and stuff. And he came over and he said, you want to give a statement? I go, well, will you read me my Miranda rights, sir? You always want to be polite because they might have a video in court. So he pulled it out of his wallet. First thing out of his mouth, you have the right to remain silent. I go, well, that's good. That's the only one I really need to hear. And the Largo lady said he has to read the whole thing. All right, fine. So I go, yeah, I want to remain silent. So he goes, turn around. So I turn around, he handcuffed me, and he goes, you don't want to give a statement? I go, why would I help you build a case against me? I'd rather just go from where we're at and go to court and let the jury decide what happened just now. So I went to jail on the floor for 2.5 days. I went in front of it's not an arraignment where they tell you your charges or you put a plea in. It's an advisory court. Well, the judge said, he called me, I stood up. Yes, sir. Well, you've been charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. So I'm thinking, wow, that's big trouble. The next step up is attempted murder. I get convicted of this, I'm looking at, 20 to life probably. So, actually the judge was pretty nice. But then he ordered me to have no contact with firearms. Now, again, I haven't been formally charged yet to put in a plea. He said, well, I'm ordering you that you can't be around firearms. Well, That's called due process. I had no due process. They violated my Second Amendment rights with no due process. I hadn't been charged yet, but I wanted out of jail, so I wasn't going to argue with this guy. So I bailed out. I had a buddy of mine come and take all my firearms because the SWAT team came a few days later and wanted to search the house with no warrant. So they didn't come in. But I said, I called a couple lawyers. They wanted $10,000 and they would have pled me out to a battery charge. So I said, I'm going to call the state attorney and see if he'll talk to me. Well, I called and I forgot his name, but he talked to me. And I said, well, here's the deal. You charged me with aggravated assault with a gun. Well, there's no gun. You didn't find a gun. And the person that said that I assaulted him, he didn't want to testify, and he's already made that statement that he didn't want to testify. So what's left is the aggravation charge, aggravated assault. Well, if aggravation was a law, my wife would be on death row. That means nothing. You can aggravate people all the time. It's probably part of the First Amendment. But I was in the military. I'm not a bad guy, and now I can't protect my home where my kids and my wife live because I can't be around any of my guns. My wife has a concealed weapon permit, and she couldn't have a gun in the house because I was living there. So, I just explained to the state what the deal was, and that the oath of office, I'm going to need the oath of office and the bonding, because they've all sworn to take an oath, and they're bonded. If they lose the case, you can sue them. This was on a Tuesday. Friday, I got a letter in the mail, all charges have been dropped. So if it happens to me, it can happen to you. And I'm going to tell you something real quick. The producer's going to be mad, but there's a show on TV. I'll bring it up in another episode. The court system is overwhelmed with 10% of people taking not guilty and public defender cases. They're overwhelmed at 10%. So if everybody that got arrested said not guilty, I want a jury trial, they couldn't control anything. At 10%, imagine if half the country did it.
Yeah, it'd grind to a
It
halt.
would change everything. America, you got to get involved. Go on YouTube. There's some professors and ex-judges that have found God and are telling what this court system is doing to us. They're tyrants. They're out there collecting money. That's all they want is money. If you break a law, read it. Read the Constitution. To break a law, there has to be an injured party. So when you run a red light at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no cars, and you drive through, and the guy at the Circle K saw you, pulls you over, that's not a law. That's an ordinance. So we'll cut it a little short tonight. We'll get into it more, but start learning about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They do not have the right to this. Florida, if you're driving, they ask the passenger, can I see your ID? No, you don't have to show them that. You have to have a reasonable cause that he committed a crime. And if they take his license and they don't prove it, they're getting sued. So I'm filing a federal lawsuit, and I got a pretty good lawsuit, because I don't even have to present a case. When they present their case, they're presenting that they're guilty. They took my Second Amendment rights away with no due process. Look up due process under Black's Law. But I'm not going to run on. I'll flip it back over to the boss.
Yeah, wow, that was pretty explosive. Thanks for watching tonight for American Facts News. I'm Dana Walsh.
I'm Big Rob Glazier. Good night from the Gunshine State.